Okay. So you can try this with me. So get in touch with what feels like you. Get in touch with what feels like yourself. You exist. This experience. You're aware. You are yourself. You are here. You're aware. What feels like you. So you are what's looking. You are what's hearing. You are what's aware of thoughts. Then we can ask, we can observe that me, what feels like me, what I am, is here. I am here. It doesn't matter if it feels like you in a body or in the world, but observe that, or become attentive to the fact that you are here. What you are is inherently here already. Whatever you are is already here, is already alive, is already existing, is already inherently so. And then we can watch for the energetic or the thought-based movement of the mind. Does it feel like I am looking for myself? I'm trying to confirm or conclude myself or something about this experience. We can ask, what will be the next thought? And then just watch for the next thought. Because what you are is inherently already here and aware. What you are is inherently already here and knows this experience, including thought. So let's become aware of this inherent existence of what feels like me, and then become attentive to the what will be the next thought, and then watch. When the next thought comes, what you are is aware of that thought, the content of the thought and the feeling tone in the thought. What you are is aware of that. see what the thought says. See what the thought feels like. See what energy there is behind the thought, or what energy the thought is evoking. And notice that what you are is aware of that feeling, that emotion, that energetic tone as well. Just notice it as a thought. Notice the feeling as a transient experience. What you are is inherently already here to be aware of that, or to know that. And then just move back to the simple, inherent, aware existence. That's already here, that you're already looking from. And watch for the next thought. See that every thought that appears, every emotion tone that appears, you're aware of. What you are that's here is aware of it, is aware of the movement of it, knows the content of it, is known by you. So what are you that's already here? Notice the movement of the mind looking to confirm something, or looking to qualify or value part of this experience, to confirm something, to explain something. Notice the energy behind that. Notice the intention and the urgency behind that. Notice what you are that already knows that. What you are that's aware of that already, for it to even come and go, seemingly, for it to even exist. Notice that what you are that's aware of that is already here, and come back to it. See that it's not possible to move from that. It seems like it is, to move away from what you are by following the content of thought, by following the urgency behind what is suggested as a reality in the thought. Knowingly come back to what you are that's already here. Where you are that can't go anywhere, and watch for the thought. What you are confirms itself. It doesn't need confirmation, doesn't need clarification, doesn't need explanation, doesn't need to be figured out, doesn't need any of that, doesn't need thought to relate to it, doesn't need any of that. All of that is added to, seemingly a movement from or over or on top of what you are that's already here. Already, always here, can't not be here. It doesn't need confirmation. It confirms itself. Self-knowing, self-confirming, or you could say it is the knowing. It doesn't need to know itself because it is the knowing. And the knowing is what you are. Some call it awareness. These are just descriptions, not the experience. Words suggesting conclusions, not the reality or the ongoingness of what you are. You see that it's beyond capture by words. Words appear in it, thoughts appear in it, but can't point to it. Because this has no directions, no start and end point, no inherent qualities, no inherent positions. It's already here, and it's not a thing, it's you. What feels like you. And if a thought comes up that feels like you, that feels like there's you in it, notice that that too is known by you. You are aware of that. That appears as a transient object of thought within you, with the story, the feeling of me suggested in it. Notice that any seeming movement away from this is a complication, comes after, is added to, isn't inherent, is transient. What you are is here throughout all of that, to experience it, to know it, to be aware of it. As soon as we try and qualify, categorize, or understand it, we've already moved past it. We're already adding to it. This doesn't need to be added to. It's complete already, what you are. It can't be figured out. It's not in the world of that. It can't be known. It can't be unknown. It's not findable. How can you find what's looking out through your eyes? How can you find what's hearing the sounds? How can you find what is aware of thoughts without using thought to confirm or describe it? It doesn't need to be found because it's here already. It can be found because it's not a thing. It can be located because it has no locations, but also all locations. It can't be observed because it doesn't have a form. It can't be described because it's the source of all descriptions. It's the origin of all descriptions. It's that which knows all descriptions. It never is and can be lost. It never is and can be really obscured. It can be noticed. Or we can notice what seems to be obscuring it, and then realize that it never has been obscured. It never can be obscured. The obscuration is an illusion, because it's a few steps down the line. It comes after, is added to what's already here, which is you. How can you wake up what's already awake? Come back and stop. Stay with the sense of existence, the sense of awakeness, the sense of clarity, awareness, knowingness. Awake, clear, aware, knowingness. Tongue twister. And it's helpful to, with thoughts, explore the mind, explore thoughts from this position of clear awakeness, from this position of aware, attentive knowingness. Watch for the thought. Look at what is a thought. What does it contain? What does it suggest? And what is it saying? Wait for the next thought. As soon as the thought appears, direct attention, knowingly, consciously, with awareness to that thought. Notice the awareness in it, notice the knowingness of it that is you. And then come back to the simple knowingness, awareness of being, simple existence, in which allows all of the thoughts about awakening, about meditation, about enlightenment, and come back and stay there and watch for the next thought. What am I that knows thoughts? What am I that is aware of thoughts? What will be the next thought? What is that thought saying about me? What feels like me? Can I find a real me in the thought? Can I find a real me? Suggested in the thought. What is this thought suggesting, concluding, confirming about what I am? And is there any weight to it? What am I that's already here, that knows that? What am I that's aware that exists, that knows, regardless, always regardless of what the thought is saying? The content of thought, the content of experience. What am I? It's here already. You're looking from it. You are it. Right now. What am I right now that is aware? What am I right now that is awake? As soon as the thought comes up, it may feel like an effort. It may feel uncomfortable. Notice where the effort is coming from. Notice the urgency and tension suggested by the thought and the feeling behind that. And notice what you are that's aware of that. What you are that knows that experience. And come back. If you get carried away into thoughts and you remember, you notice and come back. Notice the expansive quality of that. Notice the waking up quality of that. Notice the difference in the quality of thoughts compared to the difference in the quality of this direct experience. Notice the difference in the quality of the experience when you're carried away with thoughts compared to when you do that moment when you notice you're lost in thoughts and you come back to yourself. Then you look past it and you move out again, then you come back to yourself. The self is always there. Your, let's say, true self, what you truly are, is always there. The dream-like state of the identification with thought, when we fall away from ourselves, when we believe in it, always happens within you. It just seems like you were carried away with it. It seems like you were lost in a dream-like illusion, a dream world of thought, but what you truly are was entirely, infinitely awake throughout that seeming time-based story. Notice the difference in quality when you come back to yourself, when you come back to what you are, and then knowingly, let's say, observe the experience of thought. From that place, the experience of thought is very different. There's not a holding, there's not an intoxication, there's space, there seems like some separation, some freedom there, some clarity there, some awakeness there. Come back to that, stay there. Some people call this a sense of I am, the sense of isness. That's it. In that, all of this unfolds, the disidentification with the mind narrative self, and it happens on its own. It requires no effort. It seems like it requires effort from the person. It seems like it requires exertion from the person, but it dismantles itself on its own. It's not a problem for awakeness. It's not an effort for awakeness. It can help to bring the senses into the immediate experience of what's seen, sight, the looking, the hearing, the body sensations. Bring your attention back into the body sensations, the senses. Just become attentively aware of the already existing, already knowing, already aware presence of that experience. And then watch for the emotion tone of uncertainty, emotion tone of seeking, of yearning for something that's not here, something in the future, something that's not this experience, something better than this. Notice that that is a thought. Notice that that thought seems to spring from an undertow of emotion. Notice what you are that is aware of that whole experience as it plays out in time. And that it's not going anywhere, it can't be lost. You are already it, it's already here, infinitely. Notice some urgency and restlessness. Boredom, maybe. Notice the energetic movement, the emotion tone that springs from, and then watch the thoughts appear from that, knowingly, attentively in presence. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. So that's a relative practice that can be used. There's no specific way to do this. Everyone's a bit different, but that's a kind of similar approach in my own personal story. But I'd be doing this when engaged in something like walking that I enjoyed. The primary purpose was to immerse myself and enjoy the experience of it, the sensory, physical experience of walking. The thoughts were secondary, so I wasn't struggling with them. And in contrast to the sensory environment, the thoughts are so diminished in their magnitude, in their reality, that it became easier and easier to experience the thoughts as the presence of awareness, let's say, or with attention on what people call the sense of I am. And from that, the thoughts hold no weight, hold no power, but they will be enticing and they will appear habitually. They may diminish over time, and it might not be so apparent when thoughts are appearing because they become quieter. They maybe almost don't fully express. They maybe move around in the background, not fully formed, but continue to notice that. And eventually what you are will shine through and confirm itself beyond a doubt. Beyond a doubt, it's not doubtable. To the extent that any mind movement, any story can play out and it doesn't affect the clarity of this, the clarity of what we are, what you are, what I am. It doesn't need to be found, never did, is already here. Anyway, that'll do for now, and I'll talk to you next time.